The 9th annual Maple Creek Heritage Festival attracted visitors of all ages for a full weekend of activities. A hungry crowd gathered for a pancake breakfast in the downtown core, complete with all of the fixings, before finding the perfect spot to watch the parade.
I like the animals. Yeah, there is lots of nice floats with animals. There's a float with a horse and a calf and a pig and some chickens.
A sense of community, which highlights the ranching and First Nations heritage of the town.
We have a very good relationship with Niconete First Nation. They've been great friends and neighbors over the years to the town of Maple Creek, and the two communities have been quite integrated right since the beginning of our community's history. Of course, in the 1880s, when the Dominion government was settling First Nations onto reserve, Niconete refused to leave the Cypress Hills area, and they remained here, surviving as best they can, and they would work on some of the local ranches as hands. They would often provide some assistance in Maple Creek as domestic help. They'd always show up to all of the rodeos and all of the sporting events, so there was a very integrated relationship right from the beginning. So we didn't have the whole issues with the pass system and so on and so forth that plagued so many other communities. And I think as a result of that, you see the two communities working in partnership, because that's how we've been doing it since the 1880s.
Stock dog trials were also in the spotlight throughout the day. Greg Todd and his partner Penny, an 8-year-old border collie Heeler Cross, were one of the many competing teams, showing off their skills throughout the competition, which included this obstacle course.
Well, we have to clear the first obstacle, and then we got to go around the trailer, bring them back up through a drive gate, and then back around and have to do a sort along the wall, where we take one animal out and send the other two down the fence, and also load them in the trailer. Yeah, you get 3 points for each obstacle you accomplish, and if you lose one animal in an obstacle, well, you lose 1 point per that obstacle, and then it's timed also. So if there's a tie for total points in the end, it's based on your fastest runs.
And as the younger crowd cooled off from the hot summer heat with this makeshift spray park, others took in the vintage display. A step back in time, with these collectibles now for sale. Tina Cresswell is a local business owner and one of the organizers of the Vintage Fair, and was busy throughout the day, demonstrating one of her many hobbies.
This is traditional rug hooking, and I'm making a little wall hanging for my granddaughter, but I hook rugs for our house, and I teach rug hooking. It's a craft that came to North America in the late 1700s or early 1800s, and they used to make bed rugs, which were quilts, really, only not quilts, out of anything they had to hand, and they'd hook them into feed sacks. And then as people got more affluent, they hooked rugs for their floors. And now it's turned into quite an art form in many ways.
A fun-filled weekend for all ages, while attracting tourists for future visits to this quaint Southwest community.
Well, we camp just outside of Maple Creek at Eagle Valley, and I don't know, there's always something cool going on in town, so you got to come in and check it out.
And a lot of people, when they arrive here in Maple Creek, they're quite surprised to see what is in a community of this size. When we talk to visitors and we tell them, well, you realize there's 4 bakeries in Maple Creek and there's 14 different places to eat, and we have specialty shops that you can't find in the cities. That's quite unusual, I think, for a community of our size. So the Heritage Festival allows us to not only celebrate what makes us unique, but it also allows us to showcase ourselves and what our strengths are to the broader world.
The Heritage Festival is an annual tradition in Maple Creek, hosted in early July.